back, everybody. We are going to do a pod review for you today, and we're going to do it on an easy one. I'm not going to kill myself trying to do this pod review, but we'll do one easy, and I'll just show you the plant. I already picked the pepper, but we'll do a little magic for you. And as you can see right here, that's it, and that is what it is. Convenient. And if I go like this and I turn my hand around, look at that. We got one right there. See how quick that was? So there wasn't too many pods on this. I wasn't terribly impressed with the production, though I got maybe about 6 or 7, I think, off that plant. By the end of the year, I'll probably end up with about 6 or 7, but you end up with a pod like this. And they're quite beautiful. I got some earlier pictures of when it, what it looks like before it actually gets to this stage. They do eventually get, red or dark purple or red. I think they ripen to red, if I'm not mistaken, or they might stay like this. I don't know. I never let them fully ripen, but they're definitely past the breaker stage, and so this is one that's probably going to be sweet and edible. So let's take you out of here, and let's walk you up. Walk you up. And we'll bring you into my pod review section, and this is usually where I like to do my reviews because it's about as quiet and peaceful as I'm going to get without all the nosy neighbors that love to watch my videos. Anyways, there it is. And that's what it looks like. And I believe it's a sweet pepper, so no heat on this one. It'll be a quick review. Let's turn you around and let's give that a go. Alright guys, here we are. We are doing another pod review. It's going to be on the sparkling Violet Sparkles pepper. I think that's what it's called. Violet Sparkles or Sparkles Violet. But that is it. And this one's a smaller one. These they can maybe almost double in size from this. They generally keep this pendant type shape. And they can get a little bigger than that. Not too much bigger, but they can almost double in size. They generally got a beautiful kind of patchy purple look over the light green, lime green color in the background. They look very beautiful. I do have images. I'll try to remember to include it here. And that way you get to see what it looks like. That's what it looks like before it's ripe. And then in general, this is what it looks like once it's ripe. Now, eventually I would imagine these probably turn completely red, I would imagine. But they're red enough for me to actually pick and harvest and save the seed. Once they get into that breaker stage, you're pretty good. You're safe. It means the plant's saying, all right, pick me. I'm ready to get rid of the seed. My children need to get out of the house, right? So that's it. You look at the top. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. Violet sprinkles. You couldn't get seed in the United States for a couple of years. I actually had to go overseas and get seed for this. So I got lucky. But I couldn't get seed from anybody in the U.S. for a couple of years on this one. And I believe Baker Creek may have been one of the first to originally offer it. But they ran out, and I guess they were waiting on their seed as well as everybody else. And I just didn't want to wait. So I went overseas, and I found somebody with seed, and here we go. But let's give that a bite and see what it tastes like. Nice and sweet. Okay, so let's start off with the fact it's not a hot pepper. It's sweet, so we don't have to cover Scovilles. It's a very nice sweet pepper. Now, I don't know what they taste like in their unripened stage. So you can pick these either ripened or unripened. I don't know what they are unripened. I would imagine they're probably going to have that typical green bell pepper annum type of flavor. But the ones I just tasted now are ripe. So it has a nice smooth flavor, very smooth. The texture of the pepper was nice. It had a nice crunch to it, very mild, very chewable, like no weirdness in the texture, should I say. Skins were atypical for the skins on a bell pepper. They weren't like so hard where they snapped or anything like that. It's a very nice pepper, and it had a nice mild sweetness to it. It wasn't overwhelmingly sweet, but it had a nice sweetness to it. And the flavor was smooth. That's the part that grabs me. Usually when we get into ripe bell pepper type sweet peppers and all that, once they start to ripen and that flavor really builds, you start to get these overtones. So the overtones is the flavor that you're going to get in your mouth, like an aftertaste, but it's it's when you first eat it, you get this initial flavor of what the pepper potentially tastes like. And sometimes those flavors can be off-putting. They neutralize usually right away, and if you cook with them, but if you're eating them raw, some people may not want to taste that. This didn't particularly give me an overtone type of flavor. It was very smooth, nice and sweet, had a pepper type of flavor to it, even though it was ripe. Because oftentimes when they ripen, they start to taste like an apple or a cherry or something like that. This one held the flavor of pepper, even in its ripe stage, and it was nice and sweet. I really like this pepper. The downside to it is that, well, maybe this year it was just kind of on the low side. We'll try growing it again outdoors. I didn't realize it was going to be such a small plant. I thought it was going to get big, but apparently it didn't. So it stayed small. Now all the other plants are growing out around it. Part of that could be because of this spring. We had a really kind of a hard spring to get through. It was just cold. Not that it was freezing. It was just in that 40s range. And when you're bringing your pepper plants out, you don't want to harden them off into like 40 degrees. That's not a good idea. They're coming out of your house in 70 degrees and you're bringing them out into 40. They don't like that. It causes the plant to go into a type of false dormancy state. It's a false trigger, and then your plants stunt, and sometimes they don't come out of it. Oftentimes, a lot of these all went through that stage, but as you can see, these are quite large plants. Some of these plants are sensitive to that, and they don't come back out of that stunting. Will they ever grow again? Yeah, I have to dig it up and put it in a pot, then prune it down, and then all the new shoots that come up will put new roots into the ground, and the plant will potentially get to its potential size. But as of right now, the end of the year, we got maybe a month left of growing. I'm not going to fool around with it. It does have a few peppers on it. We'll probably get those to full term. But as far as production on it goes, with these particular plants, and again, this could be kind of a lack of production simply because of the beginning of the year. It may not be the variety itself. I ended up with between maybe 6, 7, potentially a dozen pods off the plant if the plant was in its optimal conditions. You're growing it by itself, nothing's around it. But oftentimes I grow these plants really dense like this. I find they actually grow much better than when they do by themselves. They just grow way better condensed. I don't know why. Some plants do, some plants don't. I call it a community effect. Maybe this doesn't like the community effect. It's not a community plant. It wants to be alone. I don't know. Have to fool around with it for a couple of years until I can bump it. And then once I figure out how that works, now I'll know how to grow it. But right now it's just throwing at the wall and seeing if it sticks with this variety. Might have to grow it for a few years. So we will. It's a nice variety. I would definitely grow this. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's very nice on the palate. Very smooth. It is a sweet pepper. It's not hot. For all you sweet people and you don't want the heat, this is a good option for you. It's just not going to be real productive, one plant. So my suggestion to you would be grow about 4, 5, 6, 7 plants. If that's the only variety you're going to grow that year, grow like 5 or 6 of them so you can get a good amount of peppers. Also, too, like I said, I don't know if it's a community plant, so this one might want to grow by itself. Put it in a pot. Keep everything else away from it. You got to baby this, basically. Just pamper it and water it constantly. Look for bugs. It wants to be pampered. It's not like these peppers, I don't have to do anything with them. I just plant them. I walk away, come back in 3 months, and it's loaded with pods. I do pod reviews. I'm done. No pampering. No. That plant, you got to pamper. So I'm just saying, it needs attention. It doesn't want to grow on its own, so to speak. But it's worth growing. It's a fun variety to grow. I like it. I'm going to grow it again next year. We'll see if we could get a little bigger. Anyway, guys, that's it, really. That's your pod review for the Violet Sparkles. What I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description below. You'll be able to go over to the website, hrseeds.com, and be able to buy seeds for it. I think there's seeds up there now for it, to be honest with you. I didn't get many peppers last year. I got 1 or 2, and that was it. So I think I built the page for it. There should be seed. If not, just once I upload this video, it should be ready by then. And I'll also, whatever information I have on the violet sparkles, I will put in the description below and on the website, but always check both, because oftentimes I update the website, but I don't update the video description. I just don't have time for it. And that's really it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to share this thing out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next one. Take care. Be good.